All right, folks, it's August, the best month of the year because it's the month where yours truly came into existence. And in fact, my birthday is this Saturday, August 6th, so feel free to celebrate however you see fit. But a good way to start is subscribing to the channel. Anyway, while August may be the best month of the year, no one's disputing that, it also marks the last month before the next iPhone's release, and honestly, we know so much about the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Pro at this point because we've covered so many of these rumors on the channel for the past year, but even so, going into the last month before the release, we are now learning some additional details about some new features for the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Pro, and also, I think I can pinpoint the exact date that Apple will announce these phones, the exact date they will go up for pre-order, and the exact date where we will get a release date for these products. And also, I think we have a pretty good idea of how much each of these new models is going to cost. And you might actually want to prepare your wallets. I actually hope you have a birthday coming up soon, so you can offset some of this cost by maybe asking for an Apple gift card, or maybe asking, if you got rich parents, maybe they could just buy the iPhone for you. I don't have rich parents. They never bought me an iPhone. All right, now at this point, 1 month before the iPhone 14's release, we've learned so much this year about what to expect with this phone. Highlights for me really center around the Pro model with a brand new hole punch plus pill-shaped front cutout for the cameras, so a brand new design, which will give you slightly more screen real estate, a new 48 megapixel camera, which will be Apple's first megapixel count increase since the iPhone 6S, that's very exciting, a faster A16 chip, kind of looking forward to see what the performance is on that, and some new colors including a new rumored purple color, specifically for the Pro lineup, a purple iPhone Pro model, that could end up looking pretty cool. However, there's also been some new rumors since the last time I did a video on the iPhone 14, with some new features in the works, including the iPhone 14 Pro getting a more efficient LTPO OLED display, allowing the refresh rate to go even lower. Currently, the 13 Pro and Pro Max can only go down to 10 Hz. However, to enable something like an always-on display, they would need a panel that can go down to 1 Hz, just like on the Apple Watch. And that's exactly what Apple is rumored to be implementing for the Pro model for this year, an LTPO display that can range from 1 Hz to 120 Hz, thus allowing Apple to implement an always-on display. And we've even seen leaks in Xcode that point to this exact feature and how it may actually work by dimming the display, making it slightly darker, but also still showing your wallpaper as well as the widgets you will be able to set for the lock screen on iOS 16. This would function differently from Android smartphones where the display usually just kind of goes to all black and then display some white text to save battery life. I think Apple should be able to manage the battery life pretty well though, given this more advanced kind of always-on display, given how great of a job they have already done with this implementation of an always-on display on the Apple Watch, and they managed to make the battery life work on that smaller device with an even smaller battery. So I think this should not really be a problem for the iPhone. I know a lot of people are worried about battery life hits with an always-on display, but I think Apple should be able to manage this. Now, you'll notice a lot of the big upgrades this year are centered around the Pro model, and there might be a good reason for that, as I'll tell you just a little bit later in the video. But let's also go over the iPhone 14 very quickly, because we may not be in for big upgrades here this year, with most rumors saying that we should expect the same design as the iPhone 14, with a slightly upgraded chip, which is basically an A15X type of chip. Like the A15 chip that's going into the regular 14 is going to be the same one that we had on the 13 Pro, which basically was the same as the A15 chip, but just had one extra GPU core enabled. So technically, the regular iPhone 14 will be getting a chip upgrade, but it's like a side upgrade, not like a straight up upgrade. We can also probably expect 6 GB of memory on the regular 14 models, and the camera upgrades will basically get the 13 Pro cameras from last year, so no new 48 megapixel sensor. That will be exclusive to the Pro models. Honestly, this upgrade it sounds even worse than the traditional S-year upgrades from years past. Perhaps Apple will have a few surprises when it's released, but basically the 14 to me sounds like like the less expensive version of an iPhone 13 Pro, while all the cool and new features are going to be kind of exclusive to the Pro models for this year, and that is quite a drastic change for Apple, so it's going to be interesting to see how this strategy plays out. However, I do think there is one big exciting development for the iPhone 14 this year, the regular lineup, and that has to do with the shakeup with Apple, sadly for me, kind of dropping the mini iPhone from the lineup, and in its place, replacing it with a bigger 6.7-inch size iPhone 14 Plus or iPhone 14 Max. That will have the same screen size as the more expensive iPhone 14 Pro Max model, and I think this will be a very popular model because smartphone buyers have been shifting towards the purchase of bigger and bigger smartphones, and this would mark Apple's first 6.7-inch size smartphone under $1,000, and it should also get a nice big boost in battery life because there's more room inside of a larger phone to put a larger battery. I think this model, despite maybe not getting some of the more exciting upgrades that are coming to the Pro model, is still going to excite a lot of people, and I think it's going to be a top seller for this year. But let me know in the comments below, do you agree with me on that, or do you think this model is going to end up not selling as much, basically due to maybe a higher price point? Speaking of which, that's probably why you're here. Let's talk about the price point and release date for these products. Okay, so looking at this lineup with an iPhone 14, an iPhone 14 Max, an iPhone 14 Pro, and an iPhone 14 Pro Max, it stands to reason that Apple is in for an interesting year with some unexpected prices. First of all, at this point, I expect the iPhone 14 to remain the same price as the regular 6.1-inch size iPhone 13. So the lineup will start off being more expensive because the mini phone will be dropped from the lineup. So there will be no $699 iPhone. So the iPhone 14 should start at $799, which is kind of a bummer. There's not going to be that lower priced iPhone that starts at $699 in the lineup, and I think people are probably going to be disappointed by that. I think maybe to fill that gap, the iPhone 13 will come into there, and maybe that will satisfy enough people. But for me, it's kind of like, well, I wish the newer models started at a lower price point like that. Now, like the iPhone 13 lineup, I think we can expect a $100 difference between the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus, but basically in reverse. So $799 for the iPhone 14 and then a $100 increase for the iPhone 14 Plus, so $899. After that, traditionally, we expect the iPhone 14 Pro models to start at $999 for the regular Pro model and $1,099 for the Pro Max model. However, I think this year we are in for a price increase on the Pro models. Just looking at this lineup, it seems weird to have a $899 iPhone 14 Plus and then a iPhone 14 Pro at $999, just basically separated by a $100 price point for the regular and the Pro model. That is just a really weird gap. Pile that on with the numerous upgrades the Pro model is rumored to receive this year that are exclusive to it, like a new design, a better display, and a much improved camera, and compare that to the cost-saving lack of upgrades on the regular 14 model, and it makes you think there has to be a bigger separation in price between the regular and the Pro model. Traditionally, that was a $200 difference, and I think that will stay true. So I expect the 6.1-inch size iPhone 14 Pro to move up $100 and start at $1,099, and the same for the 6.7-inch iPhone 14 Pro Max. I think that will start at a whopping $1,199 price point, basically making it, starting-wise, the most expensive iPhone ever released. This may not be the prices we were expecting, but especially after Apple just released an M2 MacBook Air at a $1,199 starting price, it does not surprise me at all. Okay, what about the release date? Greg, can you actually give us an accurate release date 1 month before the iPhone is released? Well, I have no inside knowledge, but I think I can give you an accurate announcement date, a pre-order date, and a release date. And I am basing this off previous iPhone announcements when Apple doesn't have major supply issues on its hand. And so far, while things are always changing, right? Everything could be changed last minute. It looks like Apple is on schedule to deliver us an iPhone 14 in September. It doesn't look like there are any major manufacturing problems impacting the release date at this point. Therefore, I think the announcement date will be on Tuesday, September 13th, with a pre-order for the iPhone 14 going up that Friday, September 16th. And then, of course, after pre-orders, you can expect the iPhone 14 to be in stores and shipping to your home 1 week later. So that would be an official release date on September 23rd. This matches is close to a lot of the previous September release cycles that Apple has done, and to me, this release schedule makes the most sense. But yes, that is the price and release date of all the iPhone 14 models, so feel free to set these dates as a calendar reminder. And hey, if I'm wrong, come back and make fun of me for being a massive fool. But yeah, hopefully I'm right, and hopefully you found this video informative, and if you did, please leave me a like, don't forget to subscribe, and if you made it this far, don't forget to wish me a happy birthday. You know, you only turn 50 once. Okay, thanks. Have a good one.